Can India win the World Cup?
Yes, India can win the World Cup. And I've always believed that. Even before the tournament started, I said that we have the firepower to win the World Cup. The department where I felt we lacked during the test series in Australia was our bowling attack. Bowling attack looks much more penetrative now. They've bowled with a lot of aggression, a lot of purpose. And whatever I've seen so far, I'm absolutely impressed with their performance. It's controlled aggression. They have not just bowled aggressively, but they have bowled in the right areas.
Many are saying that the Indians are perhaps peaking, a bit too early. Many wins on the trot going into the quarterfinal. Are you worried?
I don't think playing good cricket should be a problem. We're playing good cricket, we should be happy about it. Why are we thinking of something which doesn't exist? I mean, if something is going well for you, why break it and then try and mend it? If something is going good. I'm sure there are many teams in this tournament who would want to be in India's position. And we've played good cricket. We need to continue playing good cricket, not to take anything for granted. And I'm not talking a different language, or I'm not saying anything new, which the players also know. And I'm sure they'll be preparing themselves as thoroughly as possible.
What have they done differently? I mean, the test series and in the tri series, as we've seen, India was not doing well. They were struggling to take 20 wickets. What is different about the World Cup? What do you think they've done to themselves?
I think, those 2.5 months in Australia have helped us.
You said that before as well.
Australia, I mean, they've for a number of years now, they've been a leading side in the world. And they've produced some amazing cricket and amazing cricketers. So to go to Australia and compete in their own territory, it's not so easy. It helps you play better cricket because you're looking to match up to their standards. And that's what we have done for 2.5 months. And right at the beginning of many of the interviews that we've done, I said that it will have a positive effect on India. Because to consistently play at that level, and then you meet the other guys who are not as well balanced as Australia, it'll immediately, you'll see those positive results. The lengths started looking better when the fast bowlers were bowling. They were not getting pulled or cut or driven. On very few occasions that happened. And batters were picking those singles, putting that pressure on fielders. When the ball went around fine leg third man, we were there to push for a couple of runs. And then all these factors, running between the wicket, stopping those singles, we've been able to see all those things, and those things are a result of 2.5 months in Australia.
Two people you had singled out when we were doing our earlier interviews, and Sachin has been with us through the World Cup, Shikhar Dhawan and Ajinkya Rahane. And I remember we were all going for Shikhar Dhawan, saying he's not in form, he's not doing well, and you kept saying, wait. And Ajinkya Rahane, you actually said on headlines today, is your X-Factor player. You've got both spot on. What made you choose these two? What do you think are enabling them to do so well in the World Cup?
Well, I've played cricket with both these players, and a lot of guys wrote various things about Shikhar Dhawan, that he should be out and he doesn't deserve to be there in the World Cup squad. And I've played, I exactly know his capabilities. And any player can go through a lean patch. But when he clicks, then what does he bring to the table is what you need to look at. And Shikhar, I know for sure, when he gets going, he's unstoppable. And Australian surfaces would suit Shikhar's batting style. He likes the ball to come onto the bat. And he proved that. I mean, he played beautifully against South Africa. He played well against Pakistan, but South Africa was special. I mean, his ability to cut and pull was spectacular. I thought he was able to play those shots consistently, and he was able to put a lot of pressure back on the bowlers. And then that is why I was very confident that Shikhar was going to do well. We sometimes speak too much too soon. We need to be more patient. We need to give them little more chance. It's not about, someone turning up and then scoring for sure. So the opposition is also out there to win. They are going to have their strategies. They will look to execute those strategies. And not always you'll be successful. Sometimes they are also end up winning those games. We just have to be more mature to understand those things. With Ajinkya, I've always said that Ajinkya is incredibly talented, but with so many other big names in the team, I mean, Ajinkya is a dark horse, but I'm always sure of Ajinkya's ability, and he's a smart thinker. His calculations are very smart, and that's what we got to see against South Africa. He batted at number 4. He was brilliant. I mean, Ajinkya came and he changed the momentum of the game. He played some big shots, and he plays big shots in such a way that the bowlers don't feel it. And only when you look back, the ball has landed in the stands. And that is the ability that he has. The timing was fantastic. I still remember the shot that he played of Dale Steyn. I think he hit him for a straight 6 over the bowler's head. And, to hit someone of Dale Steyn's caliber, it's some ordinary player cannot turn up and do it. And that's why I believe Ajinkya will be a key factor in the remaining matches as well.
If I take you away from India for 2 minutes, and I'll come back to India again, when you say the world listens, and I know you have very strong views on this, for all of you as well, this is a very important point that I want to ask Sachin. You are on record saying this whole 10-team format is not something that you like. Can you elaborate? This whole idea of the ICC that they will want to restrict cricket to the top 10 teams for the next World Cup is not something that you agree with, right?
I think if I'm not mistaken, the first World Cup was played in 1975 with 8 teams.
8 teams. 79, 83 again.
And are we looking to go back to 10 teams now after 40 years? I mean, I find that strange because as a cricketer, I would like to see cricket being globalized. There should be, how could we have 20 teams is what we should be thinking and not go back to 10 teams. In last 40 years, we've only got 2 more teams who we feel are capable enough to compete. Now, how can we change that? We can definitely change that because for Scotland or Ireland, if you are going to make them play teams like New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, every 4 years, it's a big task to ask them to compete. What happens in between those years is also important. And I feel if all the test playing nations decide that their A teams are going to tour all these places and play with them, what it does is they get to play against good opposition, and simultaneously, can you imagine a youngster, a 19-year-old youngster, a 20-year-old youngster from India going to play in Ireland because the conditions which you encounter in New Zealand or England is exactly what you're going to get in Ireland. So it's a win-win situation. You are also simultaneously helping your bench strength to understand the conditions and how to play and what are the areas where you can score runs and what are the lengths where you need to let the ball go, because you can't bat the way you bat in India. You have to bat differently. You have to bowl differently. And how do you figure those things out? Most of the times, guys figure those things out when they are playing international cricket. And that is not a place to figure out. That is a place to deliver. So you start encouraging our youngsters, not just Indian team, but it could be Australia A team playing in Scotland. It could be Ireland, wherever. I mean, it could be Kenya in 2003 were the semi-finalists. Now, where are they today? I mean, I'd like to know. And why did that happen? We need to look into it. And I, as a cricketer, I would like to see this game being globalized. And in time to come, I'd like to see 25 plus teams participating in the World Cup and not from 14 to 10. That is my only point.
I seriously hope the ICC is listening to this point of view. Coming back to India, I mean, one person that sort of generates views from across the table is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Come to the ICC tournaments and you see a different Mahendra Singh Dhoni. What happens? You've played under him, with him.
It's good,
captain.
isn't it?
Yeah, of course. But what happens?
No, I think it's also, it boils down to uh, the way team plays and the way people respond. You know, if you're just playing a one-day series in India and you win 4 matches in a row, people respond differently to 4 consecutive wins in the World Cup. It's just the way uh, we receive all these things. We receive these things differently as well. And 4 consecutive victories in a World Cup, it's different to 4 consecutive victories at home. Because those things, you know, you have next series to look forward to, next game to look forward to. But here, each game matters. And eventually that big trophy, beautiful trophy matters. And we've been able to do that. And then he has done that in between as well. But, you know, we have a lot of options. We have a lot of different matches to form our judgment on. And obviously the last series, test series in Australia wasn't a great one for us. And what happens in test cricket, you have to pick 20 wickets to win a test match. But in a one-day match, you have to score 1 extra run or give 1 less run to the opposition. And then you've won the game. So those 50 overs, it's full of excitement and result matters. But whereas in test cricket, I think if you are not able to take those 20 wickets, then you are constantly playing a chasing game. And it becomes difficult because if you're not able to do that, I don't think there is any team in the world who can consistently go out winning test matches, hoping that somebody will declare 600 runs and we'll score 800 runs much faster than those guys. It doesn't happen. I mean, you have to pick those wickets, and we've not been able to do that. And that's the reason, you know, everything looks different. To see this kind of energy in the team, led by Dhoni, is a joy to watch. It's a treat to watch. And I feel it is also to do with the kind of performances we have produced.
Sachin, coming to the next big player, Virat Kohli. I mean, many have opinions on him. Some say he's sort of going to break your record at some point in time. Who knows? Wish him all the best. Do you actually like the Virat Kohli avatar that you see, super aggressive? Or do you want him to tone his aggression down a little bit as he's going to be future captain of India? Are you happy with the way he conducts himself on and off the field? Or is there something to learn from you there?
See, I think something which is really important is the balance of the team. You know, the balance of the team will be different all times. You know, you'll have few injuries here and there sometimes because of lack of form. There are a couple of individuals who will come and replace them. Like this time, you know, unfortunately, a couple of our fast bowlers got injured. And someone else came and did a fantastic job. So these kind of changes keep happening. And then the players, the key players, have to adapt according to the balance of the team. They can't just say that, oh, I'm going to play in one gear. It doesn't matter. It's a team sport. And you need to look at the balance. You need to look at the combination. And then decide, okay, what is my role in the team? For this tournament, I've been given a role to play in a particular style. You need to do that. And it's not about just turning up and playing the way I am going to play like this. It really doesn't matter. But there are players whom you say that, okay, fine, you stick to your game and the rest will play around them. And this is the strategy which I feel, after having watched few games, I've picked that this is the way Indian team have decided to play. And I'm quite happy with it because for this tournament, it looks good.
And off the field, you're happy with this concept?
See, off the field, it is, yes, he has been a little aggressive on the field, which has helped his performance. But then you are going to find different personalities, you know, responding differently to various situations. And we all make mistakes. And as long as an individual is prepared to learn from his mistakes, is what matters. And then that process of continuing not only to get as a better cricketer, but also a better human being, never stops in life. And that would be my message.
That's actually a really good message for Virat, because that's something that all of us need to imbibe and learn from Sachin, his conduct on and off the field for 25 years. But moving on, you were there in Melbourne. Andrew Simons and Nikhil Chopra and a number of others who are on the Headlines Today panel have made this point after matches that they've not seen the kind of passionate Indian support that we are seeing in Australia. I mean, that has been a revelation for even Australian cricketers. You were there in Melbourne for the India-South Africa game, and 85,000 Indians crammed into the G, screaming, you know.
Was I in Melbourne? I thought I was in Kolkata.
Beautiful. That sums it up.
The stadium was blue.
Interestingly, I was there in the very next box to Sachin. Sachin comes wearing a beautiful magenta shirt and his glasses. And the moment he's there, Shikhar Dhawan going hell for broke, Dale Steyn being hit out of the attack, India doing brilliantly, and what does the crowd do? Sachin, Sachin. How is that possible? India is winning the World Cup. 5,000 people turn up in front of your house after India beats Pakistan. Did you feed them sweets or no?
Yeah, you won't believe, I was sort of, relaxing, and suddenly I heard a lot of noise, and I said, what is going on? And then I opened the window and I see a lot of guys with India flags and all that, celebrating and, shouting my name. So I was actually going to ask them, how many runs did I get or how many wickets did I get? I was sitting in Mumbai. I mean, I didn't do anything, but such is the love and respect that I've received, and I am ever so grateful. I think it's a blessing.
But does it help?
In Melbourne,
yeah.
In Melbourne, it was a joy to be there, because to see the entire stadium in blue outfit was special. There were very few green T-shirts backing South Africa. Continue that way; it feels nice.
Does it help? Does it help a team?
It does. It does help our players.
Can you talk a bit more on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you've played a cover drive, or if you've played a straight drive, whatever, and the way stadium responds to that also, makes you feel good, and you want to do something better, something more special. And so is the case with bowlers. You've bowled well. You go to fine leg. I mean, and you see Indian supporters cheering you, encouraging you to do better. It feels nice. I mean, it's always good to have that, but because sometimes when you're touring, you don't get that kind of support. But it's happened in the World Cup, and then mostly so in one-day games. But in Test cricket, that doesn't happen as much. But whenever it happens, I'm sure you go and speak to any bowler in our team and ask them, how did it feel when you started off really well against Pakistan in this World Cup match? You were standing at fine leg and third man. What were the people telling you?
Sachin, when that kind of a crowd is there to sort of encourage you, and if things are not going well, does it actually turn into pressure? That the presence of such kind of a big crowd, does it turn into pressure, and does it create an adverse impact on the player? How does he control it psychologically?
Well, as long as the crowd doesn't go against you, it doesn't create adverse pressure. But you don't think about all these things. You are so engrossed in a match. And especially so in a tighter situation where things are not going according to your plan, then you're not, actually focusing on the crowds. You are focused on what the bowler is trying to do, or if you are bowling, then what is my strategy, what have we decided, how can I execute that and produce something special, is what you focus on. You don't look at, somebody's not supporting you if you've bowled a good ball and somebody's not cheering for you. You don't focus all those things.
Let me ask you one more India question, and then I'll ask you about some other teams which have made the quarterfinals and are contenders. One person that Mahendra Singh Dhoni spoke about, singling him out, is Ravindra Jadeja, saying he wants more contributions from him. Are you satisfied with the way Ravindra Jadeja has played so far? Do you expect more? Do you expect to see changes?
I think, there are patches where the bowlers are not going to bowl well, and there are patches when the batters are not going to do well. But I just find that so far, this is the best balance. This balance I really liked, and I was comfortable with this balance. I would stick to the same balance, unless, I can't be 100% sure on that, because also you need to see how the conditions and the net practice sessions have been taking place. And I haven't seen Akshar, how he has been bowling. So, but this balance is what I'm talking about. If even Akshar replaces Jadeja, it is still the same balance. So I'm talking about this balance, which is good. And at no stage you will find all 11 players performing well. There'll always be a couple of individuals who've not hit that form. And let's hope that he gets there at the right time when it matters.
Okay, some of the other teams. Take some, a team like Australia. What is this kind of Glenn Maxwell kind of hitting? I mean, this is surreal. 50 ball, 100, reverse scoop for 6. If you see that order, Warner, Finch, Smith, Clark, Maxwell, it sort of creates a bit of a fear in the opposition. Would you rate them as one of the main contenders at this point?
You should not fear. You don't have to go and bowl. No, I'm sure, that is a strong batting lineup, very strong batting lineup. Extremely talented players and extremely hungry players. Australia, they would want to lift that trophy for sure. And it's not going to be easy if we meet them in the semis or in the finals. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. And there are two reasons for this kind of strike rate. One is because there has been additional pressure put on the bowlers you have to have 5 fielders inside the circle, which gives a batter more boundary options. And when you know that there is no long off or there is no long on, then you also try for a bigger option. You feel that anyways, even if I miss time, I'm still going to clear mid-on and, maybe get 2 or 3 runs. And if I time it really well, it is a 6. If not, I can still get a boundary. So it's just the thought process which has changed. And I find I'm not so pleased with this balance, because what it has done is only a world-class bowler is able to deal with these changes. A mediocre bowler, a bowler who's not a strike bowler for his team, they've found difficult to deal with this law. And that's why you see 370 plus and 380 plus and sometimes even 400, and then scoring 320, 325 has become a normal thing now. And that is because of that. And also the second reason is because of the introduction of T20 cricket. Because of T20 cricket, batters have practiced different shots. Now, 10 years ago, nobody played a reverse sweep, scoop sweep of a fast bowler over third man for a 6. But today, players are doing that. And that is only because of the latest version, which is T20. Last 10 years, the batting has changed, and more so in the last 4 or 5 years that we see. I think batters have become more creative, more confident of taking. We sometimes watching, we feel they are taking risks, but they have practiced that shot for 1,000 times in the nets. And they feel confident about it. And it's a new version of cricket.
2 more questions from me, and I'll open it up to the audience, because I'm sure many kids out here will have questions for you. When you're playing a quarter-final, a semi-final, a final, and you enter a knockout stage, what is the mindset like? I mean, what do you do because it's now one game and you're gone. If you lose, you're finished. What is the difference in mindset that you have to adjust to?
I'm glad you're talking about the mindset. Just keep it simple. Don't think about the semis, and don't think about the games that you've played. Only pick good things from that and move forward, because once you have positive thoughts, it shows in your movements. Your movements are more positive, more definitive, and if there are doubts, then you can immediately pick that. And as an opposition, what a captain is looking to do is he's reading your body language and the way you're moving. And if there is negative energy in your body, you're not going to move as fluently. And that is really important. Don't start thinking too much ahead. Neither do get stuck in the past. Wherever you've had bad experiences, shut those things out of your mind and just focus on the process. Because when you stay in the present, that is where you sort of feel less pressure. Just focus on your process is what I would say. And whenever we played those kind of games, it was all about following your process.
Final question from me before I open it up. The way India has played so far, I know you have said in the past that you expected India to do well. It surprised a lot of us. Has it surprised you? Have they exceeded your expectations? You were a hard taskmaster. After the South Africa match, you said you were not happy with the batting.
After Pakistan, I said, because I was asked a question by, I think Rajdeep asked me that time, and I said, we can better that performance. He said, you mean to say we can better our batting, bowling and fielding? I said, yes. And it was all seen in the next game. You know, we scored more runs, we bowled better and we fielded better. And that getting better in life, that process never stops. So I would continue to say that, you know, go ahead and, you know, we are with you and continue to keep getting better in life.
You've got 10 minutes to ask this legend how you get better in life. So come on, fire away. Madan Lal to start off, then I'll come to you. 1 second, Madan bhai. Can we have a microphone there, please? World Cup winner to World Cup winner.
Sachin, I know the bowling is doing very well. You know, do you think that playing a five bowler is a good thing? And the two spinner, they're making a more bowling stronger?
Earlier interviews, I've always said that everyone keeps talking about fast bowlers, but spinners are going to be as effective. I think the spinners have bowled well, especially Ashwin has really bowled well, and Jadeja has supported him. But the key factor to me was how we start, how we set it up for spinners, and fast bowlers have set it up brilliantly. You know, they have bowled aggressively, they have bowled in the right areas, because even though the wickets are helpful, I mean, especially on pitches like Perth, Brisbane, where there is bounce and pace, it becomes even more important for a fast bowler to hit those right areas, because if you are up against a good batsman, he's going to wait for you to make that mistake, falter on the shorter side or fuller side. He's going to either play a cut, pull or a big drive. So it becomes even more important to hit the right areas, which our fast bowlers have figured out. And also at the same time, our field settings have been very good. I was watching our field setting against South Africa, and the strategy was to not give any room and keep the ball in the body and use short ball effectively. So we had two fielders, fine leg and deep square leg, and a long on and mid wicket and square leg. So we had 5 fielders, I think, on the on side, and 4 fielders on the off side, which was mid off, cover, point, and third man. And everything was into batter's body and length balls. And length balls only because Melbourne, the straight boundaries are short. So they were challenging the batters to clear the longer side of the boundary, which was smart thinking, and we executed that well.
Okay, Sachin, please give me 30 more seconds. Bangladesh against India in the quarterfinals. Any chance of being complacent?
There is no room for complacency, and I'm sure the team is also thinking that way. Each match, you got to think about how you want to play the game and not worry too much about the opposition. Once you've figured out their strengths and their weaknesses, you decide your strategy and stick to your standard of playing. So far, our standard of playing, it has been fantastic to watch, and we should stick to that and not worry too much about the opposition.
The lady there. Yes, madam.
Sir, sitting here as the upcoming youth of our country, what would be the one advice you would like to give us in the field of sports, like anything?
Be passionate about sport. And when I fell in love with cricket, it started from my heart. And as I was growing up, slowly my brain took over, where I started figuring out how to score runs, plan strategies, and get those wickets. But if sport is not in your heart, do something else in life and don't find shortcuts.
One request, World Cup centric questions, please. There was another hand up there. Can we have one question from there? I'll move this side. Yes, please, gentleman there. World Cup centric, India makes quarterfinals. Ask him.
Yes, of course, we will all be in quarterfinal. But my question is regarding a batting format has been changed according to T20, Test cricket, and 50-50 format. What else a bowler can do? A new generation bowler, what else they can learn from the new format of batting? What Maxwell is doing, AB de Villiers is doing. What else we can do on bowling side?
It's a tough question. I'll give a tough answer. Maybe wait for ICC to change the rule.
Youngest questionnaire. Come on.
What were you feeling when you were facing Wasim Akram and Wakar Younis ball first time?
Okay.
It's a very good question. I was maybe 3 inches taller than you at that time. And I was only 16. So from my school cricket to a year of first class cricket, where I got to play against some of the greats. One is sitting right here in front of me, Mr. Madan Lal. He played for Delhi. We played Ranji Trophy semi-finals, and he played for Delhi at that time. And it was a joy to play against him. And those kind of experiences got me ready to play for India. When I was playing for Mumbai, there were 7 India players in the team. So, and then a couple of players were double my age. So not just double my height, but also double my age. So sharing dressing room with that gave me a lot of courage and confidence. And when I went to Pakistan, I wanted to do my best because I was playing for India and it was my dream. So I just went there and did my best. There were going to be challenges, and that's why I said, when you meet with challenges, don't find shortcuts.
No shortcuts for Team India in the last 3 games. The lady out there, please. Yes.
What does it feel like being retired? Like when you're watching your own team play and not being played?
What does it feel to be retired when you're watching your own team play but you're not playing?
You know what? I played one exhibition game last year on the 5th of July in England. I enjoyed being there because I was playing after 7 months of retirement, and it felt brilliant, and I also managed to hit a couple of shots. And I thought, oh, I can still bat, and felt wonderful. But the next morning when I woke up with all the aches and pains, my body was thanking me for that decision, wise decision in November that you took, and you retired. So it's good. I'm enjoying now the role that I'm playing. I'm enjoying time away from field, the things which I didn't get to do during my cricketing years. I'm getting to do all those things and spending more time with family. It's nice. So overall, it isn't that bad.
You know, I really feel bad to say no to questions. I'll take 2 more questions from the audience and then I'll give my friend Andrew Simons the last question, because twice world champion to world champion, colleagues, foes, competitors. So Andrew has the last word in this house. 2 more questions from the audience. The gentleman there and the lady there. To your left, madam. Yeah, the gentleman there and the lady there. That's it. Yes, sir.
So, like, we've already qualified for the quarterfinals. When the teams who are on the bench, getting a chance?
See, if things are going well for you, you don't want to break that momentum. Unless there is an alarming situation where, a batter comes and says that, I've got pain in my back, or a bowler turns up and he says, my hamstring is slightly sore right now, and I'm not sure whether I'd be able to bowl 10 overs or not. If those kind of things happen, then allow them that rest. And because the next matches are important. Also at the same time, something which is really important is to continue to make them bowl those 10 overs. You don't want to move away from the spot when you are doing well. So I would say stick to the same team if there are no injuries.
Hey, Andrew, I don't know if you ever sledged Sachin. This is your chance to sledge him. Possible India-Australia semi-final. I've given you the floor. Go for him.
No, what I'll do is who would like to, out of the kids, who would like to ask Sachin the last question?
Hey, no. We don't want an Australian copping out. You ask one, I'll give one more. I'll take 1 more minute from Sachin, but you ask one.
Well, I think maybe tell the people your most satisfying moment in cricket.
I mean, you having experienced it twice, you would know how important it is to win a World Cup. There was one moment where I felt I've done a full circle in my life, because the reason to start playing cricket was that I wanted to hold that trophy in my hands. And the first experience of 1987 World Cup was as a ball boy. I was sitting right in front of the dressing room as a ball boy, and I was thinking to myself, oh, one day I should also go there on the other side of the rope and play cricket and win that trophy. And it again happened at Wankhede Stadium. This time not as a ball boy, as a part of the team. And then to do that victory lap was special, and there are so many budding cricketers here. And I hope you share the same dream and you go on to chase your dream and lift that beautiful trophy along the way. That was one moment when the entire country was celebrating. The entire country was dancing and jumping on top of the cars, because I remember when I called my wife and I said, "What are you doing? You need to be in the dressing room." So she came, towards the stadium, but there was a traffic jam and people were jumping on top of the cars. And they saw her inside the car and said, "Not this car. Let this car go and don't jump on this car." But the moment she was dropped off to the dressing room, I had those dents on the car, which I was, for the first time, happy about. Those are happy dents.
Okay. Andrew Simons has given you the last word. I'm completely out of time. 10 seconds for your final question.
Sir, when Rohit Sharma has beaten your record of 264, so how you felt at that time?
Okay, very good question. I grew up looking at Sunil Gavaskar's record. I was inspired by my heroes. Sunil Gavaskar was one of them. Vivian Richards. I wanted to bat like both these batters. And when I was your age, my coach, everyone around me would tell me that you want to become a good cricketer, you need to follow Sunil Gavaskar's footsteps. And then the next thing was, you want to break 3400's record. And that sort of kept me going, because I wanted to become like my heroes. So today, after having played cricket for 24 years, I'd like to believe that I've inspired a lot of youngsters and set goals for them where they go surpass those goals and set targets for you guys. So make sure that you break 264, okay? So that is important, and it's all about making India proud. It's our record.
Okay, on that note, world champion, the greatest batsman to have played the game, the greatest loved Indian of all time, perhaps. I don't see this kind of adulation where the whole of Melbourne goes, Sachin, Sachin. Our expert for the World Cup, Bharat Ratna. Can we have a standing ovation for Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar?